What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here on this Monday morning with another Jimmy Rants for you. So thanks for joining us here live on Instagram. So if you're watching this on the replay on Instagram, come join me live. I do these on morning times and sometime in the late afternoon times, Eastern time. And then we repost the videos on YouTube. And so a lot of you guys are watching this on YouTube right now. And so anyway, come join us. Jimmy Rants, mornings and afternoons, every single day. We try to do that. I just got back from a conference, so was not able to do it as frequently while I was at the conference. But we're back here this week and ready to go. So jimmyrants.com, by the way, is the website. And you can watch us live on Instagram. You can watch the replay on Instagram. You can watch it on YouTube, jimmyrants.com. And then we're starting a brand new podcast with snippets of the very best Jimmy Rants moments. So today's rant, you're going to love it, you guys. Because one thing that came up at the conference I was just at was a question about, well, do you need to have grass-fed and panda massaged meats, as my friend Ken Berry would say? Do you need to have organic vegetables? Do you need to have all these expensive ingredients if you want to be keto? And the honest answer is no. No, you do not need all of those fancy schmancy, highfalutin kind of real whole foods that are the highest quality. You can do a ketogenic diet and you can get into nutritional ketosis very easily by just keeping your carbohydrates low, your protein moderated, and then enough fat to give you satiety. So if that means you go to McDonald's, and one of the medical doctors that was on the stage at this conference I was at, he said that. I had a patient who basically ate double cheeseburgers from McDonald's every day, and they did okay. And so can you get into ketosis and can you see results eating that way and eating in such a way that isn't necessarily pristine and the best quality? And so the answer is yes. Yes, you can. But let's parse this a little more, because I want to make the case for eating mostly real whole foods when you go keto. Now, I have a new book coming out on this November the 6th called Real Food Keto. Go check it out, realfoodketo.com. It's pre-order now, and then after November 6th, it'll be in stores. But in there, we even say, look, we realize people in real life don't necessarily eat real food all the time, especially on their ketogenic diet. And so the case for real food on keto is this, you guys. And I said this on a panel that I was on when this question was brought up. Yes, you can be in ketosis eating reduced carbohydrates, moderate protein, and high fat. But here's what you get as a bonus when you add real whole foods to your diet. You get the nutrition that is in those foods. So grass-fed beef is a far different beast, micronutrient-wise, than grain-fed beef would be. So that double cheeseburger from McDonald's, which I don't believe is real meat all the time, why even put your health and hands in their hands, choosing their meats? So grass-fed meats have lots of micronutrition in them. And so don't you want that to nourish your body? And why is nourishing your body so important? We do a whole section in Real Food Keto all about nourishment. And nourishment isn't just calories. Nourishment isn't just making sure that you have all the parameters of whatever your chosen diet is. And in the case of keto, keeping carbs low and fat high. Nourishment includes making sure your body is happy with what you're feeding it. And what makes your body happy is not so much the macronutrients that are in it. Yes, that is a big role, but it's also the micronutrients in it. So if there is vitamins and minerals that are in the foods that you're consuming and your body is getting nourished by that, guess what happens? You have this really amazing effect of increased levels of satiety. And so we always talk about in the keto world, well, fat's the most satiating macronutrient. And that's true, by the way. And maybe it's another rant that I debate fat versus protein as the most satiating. But anyway, back to this one. It's the micronutrition that's in that really quality food that's going to add to that fat being so satiating. And so if you're not getting adequate amounts of the vitamins and minerals in the foods you're consuming, your body's going to scream at you to keep eating, trying to get the micronutrition that it needs. This is why people on a standard American diet, eating kind of a crappy garbage style diet, when they eat something that could be full of calories, and yet 2 hours later they're hungry. Yes, it's the carbohydrates stoking that hunger because it raises blood sugar and raises insulin levels and raises all the hormones that would scream at you to go eat. What it's also doing is screaming at you to give it the micronutrients that it needs. This is why cereal companies fortify their cereal with vitamins and minerals. Because if they didn't do that, you would eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and you'd never stop eating because you need those micronutrients to give you satiety. And so if you're right now eating a ketogenic diet, you're low carb, you're moderate protein, you're high fat, but you're doing it with a little less quality food, let me urge you to try adding in mostly real whole foods to your diet. Now, I get it. Budget-wise, that's very difficult for a lot of people. But here is the thing. This satiety thing I've been talking about here, this is the thing that's going to be the X factor in continuing the benefits that you've seen from keto. Because we started adding in real whole foods back in 2011, 12, something like that was when we first started adding that to our diet. And then we cleaned up the keto and got it all in one coalesced diet. And man, oh man, it makes a difference. Again, there are going to be times when you need to grab something on the go, and it's not a, quote, real whole food. But what we're talking about is most of the time on your diet. So the meats, the vegetables, those are the things that are the base, and the fats, those are the things that are the basis of your diet most of the time. I would say, everybody says 80-20 rule. Well, some people probably need 90-10. Some even need probably 95-5 because those other things are stoking so much hunger, cravings, and you're just not going to do well. So the best case I can give for eating real whole foods, mostly as your diet on keto, is satiety. You also get micronutrient fulfillment. And people, they neglect micronutrients. And we hammer this hard in Real Food Keto. We talk about all the things that these micronutrients do in your body. Guys, you're going to be blown away when you realize what happens when you're zinc deficient physiologically to you, and how you can be sufficient in it, and then what that does positively in your health. There are just so many nuggets of truth that we try to share in that book because we want people to understand this is so much more than about the micronutrient or the macronutrients. It's totally about the proper balance of macronutrients and micronutrients, and that's what real food gives you. All right, let me see what you guys have to say. I'm going to try to take this off of here. There we go. Hi, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me on this Jimmy Rants episode. Keto Neogenesis, one question to ask yourself before consuming insert ingredient in food. Are you eating it for weight or health? Some provide both, some only one. Yeah, that's a great point. I think most people, they don't think about either, to be honest. I think they just think, oh, I'm going to fuel myself. What's going to taste good? What's going to give me energy? If you're a keto dieter, you just think about what's going to give me satiety. And so a lot of people eat these fat bombs, which I'm not a fan of. If you're going to eat fat, just throw the fat on top of your food. Why do you have to just... Another Jimmy rant for another day. So I think you're onto something there. Yeah, you definitely need to stop and think about the why of what you're eating and the what of what you're eating, because the what of what you're eating, that sounds like a weird phrase, but it determines your sufficiency in these micronutrients that we're talking about. Now, micronutrition isn't the only reason to eat real food, but it is a huge reason why you should try to do that. Hello. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the case for eating mostly real whole foods when you go keto. I argue that you get micronutrients from real whole foods that you would not get in other foods. And even like, if we're going to parse things here, the whole grain-fed beef versus grass-fed beef, organic vegetables versus, non-organic vegetables, and growing your own garden vegetables and having your own backyard chickens. I'll tell you this about my chickens. I get more micronutrition from those eggs I get from my own chickens than probably anything else I do in my diet. And so you see the nutrition in the color of the egg yolk. So the color of the egg yolk is this really rich, deep orange. And it's a well-constructed yolk. And I know when I eat those eggs, I feel it. I know that I'm getting really good micronutrients. And it's those micronutrients that are nourishing me and giving me great benefits on my keto diet. And so if I keep doing that and keep adding those foods in, over time, you have this very easy period of intermittent fasting that can kick in without you even thinking about it. Why? Because you're nourished, because you're eating real whole foods that are giving your body satiety. Again, it's an underappreciated role that micronutrients play in your body. It's not just fat that gives you satiety. It's fat plus the micronutrients. Now, a lot of fats have great micronutrition in it. If you use grass-fed butter as your primary fat, which I try to do, grass-fed butter and grass-fed ghee are my two favorite fats to use. You're getting a lot of micronutrients in that as well. And it's no coincidence that God put that in those quality sources of real whole foods, because it needs to be both the fat and the micronutrients. Sprouts are super easy and nutritious. Awesome. Thank you, Keto Body American Made. Fresh eggs are so yummy. Yes, they are. I quit carbs and low quality food at the same time, March 4th, 2018. I've gone from 388 pounds. I'm down to 294. Woo! You are a rock star, AGXCT. I'm not going to stop this lifestyle. I feel it will be easy to eat this way for life. And you did something very important that I did not do when I went on the Atkins diet. When I went on the Atkins diet, I remember that first week that I was eating low carb. I was boiling eggs from the grocery store, and I was getting mayonnaise with the soybean oil and all that stuff in it, and mustard and string cheese and deli meats and American cheese. And I would eat the raw eggs. No, not raw eggs. I would eat the hard-boiled eggs and dip them in mustard. I would then have the deli meats with the American cheese, roll it. I know that's not cheese now, but back then I was coming from 410 pounds, really junk food-based diet. Deli meats with the American cheese, roll it up, and then dip that in mayonnaise and eat that. And then have the string cheese as, quote, a snack. So I was doing all of the low-carb food, but it wasn't necessarily the highest quality food. So kudos to you for not just getting rid of the low-quality food, which is mostly the grains, the sugars, and the refined starches, but you did it. I'm proud of you. Low-carb, high-quality food. That's the way to do it. Now, again, you're going to have moments when you're going to need to have something outside of the realm of, quote, real food. That's okay. I don't want this to be oh my gosh, Jimmy Moore says I should always eat real food when I'm on keto or it doesn't work. I'm not saying that at all. Keto will still work, but try to pursue the real whole food route, because your body in the end will reward you for that. All right, I found after making better whole food choices, lower quality is almost unpalatable. It is. I can't eat a conventional egg anymore. When you have 26 backyard chickens and all of those bad boys are giving you incredible, delicious, high quality fat and protein in the eggs and all the micronutrients that are in that, there's no way you go back. And I even taste, when I eat a grain-fed meat now, I can taste the difference between a grain-fed meat and the higher quality grass-fed meats that you tend to get. People that just come to this might not be able to have the distinction, but if you eat that higher quality over time, you can't go back to the old way ever again. All right, let's see here. So we're talking about making the case for eating mostly real food on keto. Nini's Keto Kitchen says, I notice a lot of people eat processed meats and cheeses. And yes, that's what I'm talking about. And I did it. But keep in mind, I was 410 pounds. I came from 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day, whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cake at a time, fast food, junk food, crappy garbage galore. And I needed to get off of that. So in that first month, I just did what I just described a while ago with the hard-boiled eggs and and then the string cheese, and then the lean. Usually it was lean proteins with American cheese rolled up and then dipped in some kind of mayonnaise or mustard or something. And then for like a dinner, I would have a couple of hamburger patties, grain-fed hamburger, that I'd throw another couple of slices of American cheese on and put some mayonnaise on that, mustard, whatever. And that was kind of how I started. Now, obviously, if you want to get off the crap, that is your first step. Get off the crap. And then methodically start working in more real whole foods. I didn't add the real food element until the paleo community came around. Somewhere around 2009, I met Mark Sisson and interviewed him on the Living La Vida Low Carb show. And then the next year, Rob Wolf. So these are two stalwarts in the paleo world. So I went on my Atkins diet journey in 2004, started blogging 2005 and podcasting 2006. Well, it was not until 2009, 2010 that I started hearing about real food and then really implementing it in full by like 2011. So it's a journey, guys. Be kind to yourself as you go on this journey. But I'm telling you, I'm speaking truth to you today because I want you to jump ahead and not have to go through all those years of pain and frustration that I did trying to figure out what would be the best way to feed myself. I've become more experimental with nuts since on keto. Pecans are very nice. Excellent. All right. What is that slime on packaged deli meat? Honestly, I don't know. I would assume it's some kind of a preservative because they can sit on the store shelves for a very long time. But that's something to ask a food scientist. I have no idea. I despair at replacement garbage protein bars. Yes. Keto Christina, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and there's going to be a whole lot more in 2019 that will have the word keto slapped on the front packaging. And it can be very, very difficult for people to circumnavigate what's good from what's bad. So if you wanted to go just full-born, I don't want to mess with that stuff, then stick with real whole foods, and you can't go wrong. If you want to try to be discerning, rather than looking at the nutrition facts label, I encourage you to go right to not the nutrition facts, but the ingredients. And so if you start looking at the ingredients and you don't recognize something on that ingredients list as a real whole food, put it back. Thank you, ma'am. I'm out of here. Life in Pix 50 says it's frustrating weeding through the foods that they say are real food. I keep it simple with Butcher Box, Kerrygold butter, eggs from the local farm where I see the chickens run free. Yes. So that's a great thing, Life in Pix 50. Because, yeah, I tend to do the same thing. Stick with those foods that I know are real whole foods. Try to buy local as much as possible. I've got a pretty good farmer's market here locally. My backyard is a farmer's market. I've got, we're still trying to grow something in our greenhouse as it's getting cooler. But we're hoping that we'll have vegetables there year round. Of course, during the warmer seasons, we're growing a garden in the front yard and backyard. We have 26 backyard chickens. We're constantly looking for ways to incorporate more real whole foods into our diet because we know in the end, it's going to be much better for us than anything an industrialized food system in a grocery store format is going to be able to sell to us. All right, guys, that is it for this Jimmy Rants. Thanks for watching. All about making the case for eating mostly real whole foods on keto. And my friend Kat just chimed in. We have to forget about net carbs. Kat, I am so going to do a Jimmy Rants all about net carbs versus total carbs, because this is one that frustrates the boo-boo out of me. And so maybe the very next rant will be about why you need to count total carbs and not net carbs. So stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching. JimmyRants.com is the website. Again, watch me on Instagram Live at Living Low Carb Man on Instagram is who I am. If you're watching this live, thanks for being here. If you're watching on the replay, appreciate you watching on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for being here. Go subscribe to my channel, JimmyRants.com, and then that'll give you a clickable link to get right to my YouTube page so that you can subscribe and never miss any of my rants on replay. And then the all-new Jimmy Rants podcast is coming soon, guys. It's going to have little snippets of the best of these Jimmy Rants. So that's it for this one. We'll see you guys a little bit later on. Bye.